Mr. Nunes, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's safe to say that all of you have expressed some level of support for moving to a cash flow system. And one of the opportunities that we have during hearings like this, and this being one of the first hearings that we're going to have, multiple hearings, I think, over the course of the next few months, is having folks like yourselves be able to speak before the American people here in Congress, but begin to talk about these, switching from an accrual system to this cash flow system with full expensing and all of the benefits that that will do for the American people in terms of not only growth in the economy, but also wage growth. And why don't we just start with you, Mr. Stevens. Having a big, one of the largest companies in the United States, the opportunity to go from the complicated accrual accounting system, where I'm sure you have an army of lawyers and tax accountants, switching to a cash flow system like this, I think this is going to give your folks that work with you some real opportunities to get away from trying to navigate the complicated tax code and begin to look at where best to invest money for your company. And I don't know if you could expand on that and explain some of the opportunities this would give you.
Certainly simplification of the process and the simplification that might be required to provide some balance to comprehensive tax reform would be very helpful. You're right, we file over 250,000 tax filings a year here in the United States. And yes, we do have a large collection of professionals who work hard to make sure we live up to all those laws. Quite frankly, for our perspective, the provisions of a lower rate and incentive to invest in capital would be the most effective way for us to increase our investment, and through that, hire more people, generate more jobs through our supply chain, generate more research with technology development, and quite frankly, improve the wages of our employees and quite frankly of their peers who work for other companies. And as that goes through the system, it would generate demand for our services, and that's the real answer for economic growth. As the peer companies that are represented today from all sizes invest, they would put demand on our services, they would put demand for labor and for wages, and you would see growth of a significant level, we believe, for all. And then for us, it would generate on the top line. So yes, there would be simplification, but we are a large company, we have resources. That simplification aspect is really much more beneficial, I think, to the small and medium-sized businesses, and they're very important to our company because they make up some of our best customers.
Well, I think that's a great transition because sitting next to you is a small businessman from Illinois. Mr. Mata, welcome. I have a district that has a lot of small businesses, and I think having you here today sitting next to one of the largest companies in the United States really shows how we can get big businesses in America and small businesses in America to agree that moving to a cash flow system like this would be very beneficial. And so could you walk us through just kind of the opportunities that moving to this system would give a small business like yours, Mr. Muddle?
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, you pointed to the relationship here. I'd like to point out AT&T and the telecom industry was one of the biggest customers of my company for almost 100 years. We built a lot of the components of the phone network. So the supply chain relationship that we're talking about is so important. If my big customers are healthy and they're buying parts and pieces and product from me, I'm happy. That's tax reform for me, making my big customers competitive and able to do business in the U.S. I think in relation to the tax that we're talking about, the cash flow tax, I've seen some models that maybe have a little concern for small businesses, but I would just ask you to consider maybe thinking about a border adjustable profit tax as you move through that. It's very similar to what you're talking about, but maybe would focus more on profits and cash flow. But either one of the models is a great improvement, and again, anything that simplifies, reduces, and gets my customers happy and doing business with me, it's a great tax reform for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murrow. I've got a few seconds left, Mr. Farr.
Yes, I have to agree. Having healthy small business is very important. They're key suppliers of ours. If I can redirect money from tax compliance and paying tax or doing tax forms to engineering and new products and innovation, that will obviously grow the economy, because that's productive assets which go into growing the economy and making new products and helping America be competitive. So that's really allows us to redeploy where our assets go into productive parts of the economy. Not saying tax lawyers aren't productive, but I'd rather make a new product and
We
innovation
know that, Mr.
facilities.
Farr.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.